going by social media and all those, divisive videos we saw, it's good that he came out to actually say this.
True.
And, getting a second term in Lagos is no easy task, going by what happened to the previous governor.
But truth, if you look at the statistics, that's the only governor that didn't get a second term.
Yeah, but there were issues, even with his the one before him.
But he got a second term. So I mean, out of 4, 3 got a second term. So some might also say
like some kind of trend that was trying to build
start again. Well, let's quickly speak to our guests in Abuja and just get their thoughts. I know all of the action is happening here in Lagos. Well, Abuja is not seeing a lot, but I can tell both of you have Lagos at heart, probably stayed in Lagos, worked in Lagos, or had something to do with Lagos. And I'll go to Mr. Ozoma first. I mean, hearing the governor speak to those things that came up, those rhetorics, the ethnic issues on and off social media and all of that, do you think that is enough to calm frayed nerves?
Well, congratulations to him. He has spoken, but we expect him Lagosians expect him to walk the talk. Okay, because Lagos is very important, strategic to the nations. And virtually, like he said, the people from different ethnicities contribute to the IGR of Lagos State. So I expect him, maybe as work resume, for him the same way he campaigned to reach out to the people and seeking for vote, go out there to be able to cement the seemingly divisiveness that showcased during the poll, and also review the security strategy, because before the election, Lagos used to have one of the best security, talking by Lagos Security Trust Fund supporting the RRS and what have you. But the course of the poll, they seem to have not given in their best. So that also gives him puts another work on his table to make sure that for this next 4 years, that angle is well addressed, where we won't have a case like we saw in one of those cases, events, whereby someone would say that, oh, you look a certain tribe, therefore you will not vote. Things like that, he really have work to do with the civil society, the religious body, to make sure that Lagosians see themselves as one. And being a Lagosians give you the opportunity to contribute to your quota. And also, he shouldn't also single out the local government areas where maybe he perceived he did not really get support. Yes, he has won. Lagosians has won, but security should be of a third priority among other critical infrastructure development.
Okay, let me take this to Mr. Manuel, because the governor said that for the very first time, Lagos will be aligning with the government at the national level. I mean, the APC, well, in that sense, really, not the first time, but in the sense of, I mean, the president-elect having had his footmarks in Lagos, now going all the way to the national level. And I wonder for you, economically speaking, because he said that he will run free, fair, and just governance. What do you see this doing to the economy of Lagos?
Well, Kayode, thank you very much. To be very frank with you, I think if Governor Sanwo Olu has promised that he'll be fair and transparent, the first thing he should do is release the budget of Lagos to the public, open the finances of Lagos for Nigerians and the whole world to see. If he really wants to walk the talk, let him go ahead and open the finances of the state. First of all, Lagos has existential issues. 22 million people and growing, because most of maritime in Nigeria is centered around Lagos. That's 3 seaports. It's adding a 4th one. Badagry is under construction. And it has 30,577 square kilometers in landmass. It's the smallest state in Nigeria with the highest population of people. Lagos has about 10.9% of Nigeria's population and growing. So he has an issue to face with infrastructure. He has an issue to face with security. He has an issue to face with transportation. The transportation network around Lagos is very poor, and there is this issue, like Uzoma has said, about you alienating and neglecting certain parts of Lagos that you don't feel priorities. The Amuwo Dolphins, the Ojo local government, Ikorodu. There are other parts of Lagos that are alienated. He has to bring everywhere together. You know, they need to work on the Fort Mainland Bridge, because when the Lekki Deep Seaport really starts functioning and Dangote Refinery comes up by the Q3 of 2023, it's going to be a traffic nightmare, because you have one carriageway in all the way from Ibeju down to Lagos Island and down to the mainland. So you need an outlet to take traffic away, divert traffic away, and reduce that pressure from Ibeju all the way to Ikorodu, and so that you can distribute, traffic and build development around those areas also. So they need to work very quickly on the Fort Mainland Bridge. It needs to work quickly on the rail transportation network around the state, right? And, Lagos has potential. It has potential to generate more IGR. 56 billion naira per month is good, but I think Lagos can do 100 billion naira per month. But it's also important that as they are raising the IGR, they are also transparent in terms of the performance of the IGR, the monies that the state is generating towards actually development, the Human Development Index of Lagos State. Lagos State is the second worst city in the world to live in. If you travel to cities like Maputo, if you go to Johannesburg, if you go to Cape Town, if you go to Alexandria in Egypt, if you go to Cairo, and you see other cities in Africa, I'm not even going to call outside of Africa in the Middle East or Southeast Asia. I'm going to call Africa. You'll see that Lagos has serious issues to deal with. Traffic is one of the worst, in Lagos. So you need to divert traffic away from roads to rail transport, to water transport, and build a second major carriageway to divert the heavy dependence on that Lekki-Ekpe Expressway. These are existential issues that Governor Sanwo Olu needs to deal with. He needs to deal with housing. Right. Housing is a major issue. Before he became governor, he was the head of MD of Lagos Property Development Corporation, LSDPC. I was hoping that he was going to bring that experience to actually building a housing system in Lagos that will ensure that property prices can come down and people can afford houses. These are issues that he has to deal with. He also has to deal with the rehabilitation of touts and thugs, agberos. He has to really focus on rehabilitating them, because if you don't focus on their education and focus on actually bringing them back into the formal economy, they are going to pose a security threat to the economy of Lagos. So these are issues that he has to deal with. In the last 4 years, I'll be very honest with you when I tell you that I'm not impressed.
Right. I mean, quite a job of work to do naturally. Governance is a lot of work. They always say on easy lies the head that wears the crown. So this is sort of agenda that you gentlemen have set for the governor of Lagos, who's just been re-elected, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. But I would like to thank you so much for your time on our election coverage this morning. Mr. Kelvin Emmanuel is an economy expert, dressed in that wonderful attire, and right next to him is Mr. Kingsley Uzoma, a security analyst. It will seem both of you got the memo. Looking good this morning. Thank you so much for your time on our election coverage.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so that's the result from Lagos. And, it's interesting when you compare the result for this 2023 election with the 2019 election. It's very interesting. So I'll say the candidate of the APC, the governor of Lagos State, last time out got just about 739,445 votes. This time around, he's added a few more thousands to it, getting 762,134 votes. By the way, the first runner-up in that election was the PDP. But guess what? This time around, the PDP is a second runner-up.
And then we have Labour Party.
And then Labour Party. Now, then the PDP had 206,000. This time around, the PDP had 62,000. The runner-up, which is Labour Party this time around, had 312,329. That's more than times two. In fact, 450,000 votes difference. Yes, there have been issues raised across polling units. I mean, we heard the Labour Party agent speaking a lot about that. And let me quickly, just before I come to Mr. Arobodade, I know that Lagos, You and Lagos, you're literally like this. Let me go to Professor Allen, because I remember he was talking about the the Rivers situation, and I wonder what you saw play out in Rivers and what you're seeing playing out in Lagos. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, in Lagos, the use of non-democratic languages and messages in the election process is something that worked against social cohesion. Lagos is a big city, and it's Nigeria's a very important city where you have people of different cultural backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, staying to contribute to the economy in the overall interest of the country. So the governor has a lot of work to do in terms of building social cohesion, ensuring that the economy of Lagos continues to do well, and that people live, and that the city is cohesive. You know, so if you look at River State, you'll find that it's a state with several ethnic groups. You have the Ogonis, who believe that since the beginning of the state, they've never had a governor, they've never had a deputy governor, they've never had a speaker at the State Assembly. And so there was an ethnic dimension to it, where you find there's been an ethnic dimension to the struggle for the office of governor, where you have the Ogonis, fundamentally, the average Ogoni thinking fundamentally in terms of support for a candidate coming from Ogoni. And then you have the Calabarese, the riverine, and which was why in Asaro Toro elections could not hold, because they wanted to be sure that the process was transparent enough, you know. And you look at the Degema Axis, the same story in terms of resistance and positions regarding the election, and in these local government areas, election did not hold on Saturday. Then you look at some parts of Kana, you know, and Kana has more than 300 polling units, which means that it's a large segment, you know, when it comes to voting strength and number of registered voters. So you'll find this ethnic dimension, but has it created a kind of rift? Kind of, is the political process affected by this ethnic dimension to the election in the state? Now you look at the Kwere people. You know, you look at Obiakpo, Ikwere local government area, Emoha local government area. These are areas that are very important for the Ikwere people. And then you look at Falga. Falga is a huge battleground.
Hello, Prof.